Dear friends, welcome to this electrical engineering knowledge sharing channel AMP Power System. We are discussing circuit breaker control schematics or switchgear control schematics. We have already completed 4 videos on this workshop 8 under session 1, 2, 3 and 4. Today we are discussing about session 5 where we will be discussing the various auxiliary relay circuits. Now, in the switchgear control schematics, why we need the auxiliary relays? There is a small reed relays where it has a multiple output contacts. Sometimes it is a 4 contacts, 6 contacts, 8 contacts, 12 contacts. So depending on the requirement, we can select the different type of relay. This relay can be this relay or a DC relays. As control supply is DC, that's why we are using the DC relay. And if the control supply is AC, then we choose the AC relay. And the relay control voltage or the coil voltage we decide based on the control supply application. Now, in our case, we are considering 120 volt DC supply. So all the auxiliary relay coil supply will be 120 volt DC during selection of the relay. Now, first question is why we need the auxiliary relay circuit in the circuit breaker control schematics. We have seen that circuit breaker has various auxiliary contacts inbuilt with the circuit breakers. That is a breaker NO contact or breaker NC contact. That is the one we have seen it. Then breaker has a different mechanism. Breaker is spring charge mechanism is there. Breaker is spring, how it is gets charged. There is a small actuator DC motors is there. This motor is getting power when the breaker is off condition, means when the breaker is tripped or open, immediately through the breaker auxiliary contact, it has get power and the motor gets operated and the spring gets charged. When the spring gets charged fully, then immediately spring charged position there is auxiliary contact. That contact, normally NC contact we use in the charging circuit. So the moment the spring gets charged, immediately this contact become open, the motor gets lost this power. That means if we want to draw that thing, how is it? Suppose this is a positive supply and this is a negative supply. And there is a breaker auxiliary contact. So you can draw the breaker auxiliary contact. I was drawing in the USA standard. So okay, now this is European, this is a breaker auxiliary NC contact. Then there is a spring charge and then there is a DC motor here. Okay. And then on this side also, this we use a dual contact, both positive and negative side. There is also breaker NC contact and then the breaker spring charge NC contact. Okay, this is why this is connected. This is a breaker. It is a 52B and it is a 52S. You can show spring. Similarly, it is a 52B and it is a 52S, and this is a negative. Now, when the motor is get de-energized, when this breaker is its open condition, immediately it is closed and spring is not charged yet, so it is a NC condition. The both is same. So the motor this is the motor get energized. The moment the motor gets energized, immediately spring gets charged. The moment the spring gets charged, immediately this become NO, and this is also similarly it become NO. So this DC power get disconnected and spring remain charged. This is spring charge charging. This spring charge condition, there is a contact, but that contact there is limited contact, maybe 2 contacts or 3 contacts or 4 contacts available. And spring is not charged. In that position also there is two contacts or 3 contacts is available, both NO and NC combination. So this is a limited number of contacts available in the case of spring charge. So we have seen breaker has a auxiliary contact. There is a multiple auxiliary contact, both NO and NC combination. Then spring charge mechanism. This has also spring NO-NC contact. Then tip circuit supervision relay 95, which we have seen. The 95 relay has some auxiliary contact, but there is all these relay contact number maximum 4 or 6 or 2. Sometimes some of the relays are only 2 contacts. Some of the cases maybe 2 NO, 1 NC. 2 NC, 1 NO, or 2 NO, 2 NC. This sometimes it is a multiple output contact. It may be 3 NO, 3 NC. But most of the relays, as per specification, it is provided by 2 NO, 2 NC contact. That is limited, except the breaker auxiliary contacts. Similarly, this circuit breaker, we said that is spring mechanism that is there. Then there is a lockout relay. We have seen the lockout relay. there is a lockout relay has a multiple output contacts available. But if that is also limited, maybe 6 numbers or 8 number multiple contacts available. Some of the control switches, that is local remote selector switch or auto closed neutral tip switch, that is also some, it has a different position, it has a contact, and that contact we use in the various circuits. Now in a complicated circuit and multiple utilization, suppose this signal is using in different locations. Suppose one example, suppose the tip circuit supervision relay, it has a 2NO 2NC contact. Now suppose you want to supervise the relay, this tip coil position from the switchgear, from the control room, from the DCS, from the remote station somewhere. In that case, suppose you want to supervise, we have seen the tip circuit supervision relay is normally energized. When the tip circuit is healthy, this relay is energized. So that means this NO contact we have to use for the remote indication. So we have only 2 NO contact. Now if we need more NO contact, then how we will get it? Similarly, suppose spring charge mechanism, when the spring is charged, it has suppose 1 NO or 2 NO 2 NC contact. Now if we want to monitor the spring charge condition from the switchgear panel as well as the various remote location, how we can do that? We don't have any more contact. Similarly, suppose there is a circuit breaker, SF6 circuit breaker. In the SF6 circuit breaker, you know, there is a SF6 pressure is continuously monitored by pressure switch, and that switch, there is a low switch, there is a low switch, and there is a high switch. There are 3 pressure switches inside the SF6 chamber. So if the switch pressure is very low, then if there is a breaker extinction or the breaker operation, the tip coil, if this breaker get tripped, the arc may not extinguish due to the low pressure. Similarly, if the pressure is very high, then that is also danger for that. So this limit switch has only 1 NO NC contact. Now you want to monitor the SF6 circuit breaker pressure condition in the switchgear panel itself, as well as you want to monitor this condition in the control room. You want to monitor the switchgear condition in the remote DCS room. In that case, only 1 NO NC contact or 2 NO 2 NC contact will not meet the requirement. So similarly, whatever the signal we are using, if those signal has a multiple location, if the signal we want to monitor, in that case, whatever the auxiliary contact of that signal sensing device, it could be switch, it could be relay, it could be position switch, whatever is the auxiliary, or it could be breaker auxiliary switch, whatever the number of contacts available in this device, if that number of contact is not adequate, is not enough, in that case, what is the alternative? In that case, we use auxiliary relay, similar rating auxiliary relay, so that we can multiply the contact. That means auxiliary relay is used to multiply the any contact, any relay contact or position contact or switch contact. If we want to get more number of contacts, in that case we use the auxiliary relay. So that is the purpose of auxiliary relay. And this auxiliary relay, you know, these are the all electromagnetic relay, small electromagnetic relay. This relay has a coil. And that coil normally we show by A1, A2. And the coil, when the coil gets energized, then there is a spindle. On the spindle, there are the various contacts there is a contacts available. Those contacts, some contacts is normal when the coil is not energized. All the auxiliary contact we show when the coil is not energized. That means auxiliary is not energized. At that condition, maybe we have selected a auxiliary relay which have a 3 NO 3 NC contact. So that 3 NO 3 NC contact, that is in that when the relay is not energized, it is a de-energized condition normally. So that contact, this contact is mounted on spindles. When the coil is get energized, immediately it pull the spindle or plunger, then the contact change over. Means MC contact become NO, and NO contact become NC. That way the auxiliary relay operate. So we can use a multiple number of auxiliary relay as we require. I have shown as a typical any circuit breaker. What are the normally most of the circuit breaker we use this type of auxiliary contact for these functions. First, we have considered the breaker on and off condition. Breaker is closed, on or off means whether breaker is closed or breaker is open. So we have seen the breaker as auxiliary contact. There is 52A breaker auxiliary contact for the open condition. When the breaker is open, this 52A is a NO condition, and when the breaker is open, 52B is a closed condition. So if we use 52B, what does it indicate? The breaker is off condition, because when breaker is off, this 52B is NC condition. So 52B means 52B is NC condition, means breaker is off. Now, if this breaker opposition contact, we need more numbers. In that case, we have to use the auxiliary relay. How we'll use that? One of the breaker auxiliary original contact, original 52B contact, we connect to a auxiliary relay. The coil relay connected to the relay coil. This is the coil has a two end, A1, A2. Here we have tagged this relay as a 52B. 52B is this originally contact, and 52X means the auxiliary relay. This relay, what it is doing? It is multiplying the 52B contact. Actually, it is this auxiliary relay creating the image of 52B. So I have used a relay. I have shown over here 2NO 2NC auxiliary contact, means the auxiliary relay for breaker off position or breaker open position contact. We have used auxiliary relay which has a 2NO 2NC contact. Now the moment breaker is open, immediately 52B is energized. When 52B is 52 energized, 52B is a NC condition. Then immediately this 52BX, this auxiliary will be energized. The moment auxiliary is energized, then these are the two NO. This is a number 1, 2, 3. These are the 4 auxiliary contact. Contact number 2 or 4 is NO, and 1 and 3 are NC. So immediately the moment this is energized, these become NO and these become NC. So according as per our requirement, we can use this contact in the remote circuit. So what do I do? Suppose this contact we are using in the closing circuit. So here we represent like this way. Suppose it is a going to closing circuit. From here we can make out, and moreover, more clearly we can make a reference over here. Suppose the closing circuit on the drawing or page number, because switchgear drawing has a multiple pages. Suppose it is going, this closing circuit is going to page number 3. We can write down here page number 3. Then if you see the breaker control schematics drawing, it has a reference, horizontal and vertical reference. Suppose this side we put a reference A, B, C, like the horizontal portion we divide in various A, B, C, D area, and vertical portion we divide in 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Suppose I am using this contact over here. What does it mean? It is suppose page number 3. Okay, this contact suppose 52B. This contact is coming from page number 3, or I am using this auxiliary contact. This auxiliary contact I am using page number 3, row number B, row location B, and vertical location is your, suppose this is going to some page number 3. So here we'll write down 3, then we'll write down B, and we'll write down 1 like this, 1 or 2, whatever the reference. So this is this way, these auxiliary contact are marked. So the auxiliary, in a brief, this auxiliary relay we use when the main contact is not adequate, is not enough. In that case, to obtain more number of contacts, we use the corresponding auxiliary relay. So in a circuit breaker, mainly auxiliary we use for the circuit breaker open condition multiplication, open condition to get more number of contact for the open condition, more number of contact in the circuit breaker open close condition. Then we need a more number of contacts. Suppose there is a tip circuit supervision relay. That relay has a limited number of contacts. So for that multiplication of the tip circuit supervision, also we use auxiliary relay. Then we use circuit breaker spring is charged or not charged. To sense that condition in multiple location, we use the auxiliary relay. Similarly, we have seen that each circuit has a MCB. If this MCB is tripped, we need to know. So we need at least one alarm that MCB tripped. For that reason, the MCB auxiliary contact, I have already told that MCB has a at least one NO, one NC contact. So if this contact MCB trip condition to be sensed in multiple location, one contact will not make it out. So what we do? We use this MCB NO contact to multiply multiple contacts. So we use one of the MCB, this MCB contact, we can connect over here, MCB trip. And then as this is a multiple number, suppose this is one of the tripping circuit, similarly closing circuit, then alarm indication circuit, itself this circuit, all this MCB contact is there. So all this contact we connect in parallel over here, and then we put on auxiliary relay that will give any of the MCB trip condition. When we get this, so this MCBX will energize. The MCBX has a multiple contact. Suppose one of the NO contact we are using for the control panel. So the moment I get when this relay will energize, means when this MCB trip, immediately this will NC, it will give an indication in the control panel. Immediately operator or the maintenance people will come and check why alarm is coming, then they will check all the MCB or not, or MCB, if the MCB trip, they can make out from the MCB body itself there is a red color has come. So that's why this is also auxiliary relay is required. Then the lockout relay, which we have said that in the tripping circuit there is a lockout relay. This lockout relay has a multiple contacts, but still because lockout relay contact is used in various circuit. Tripping circuit is required, closing circuit is required, local remote indication purpose is required. Then this lockout relay contact is also required for the remote and tripping also. So lockout relay contact has a multiple application. So even it has a 6 3NO 3NC contact that may not be adequate. In that case, we use another multiplication contact of the auxiliary relay. This auxiliary relay is a 82X relay. Similarly, it has a multiple contact. And this contact configuration and rating of the current rating of the contact we can use based on the relay. We can select a relay which might have 8 contacts and the contact rating may be 10 ampere. That type of if this auxiliary relay 10 ampere is not available, we use sometime a contactor so that available current rating auxiliary contact is available. So that way, based on the requirement, we can use the auxiliary relays. So here I have used circuit breaker on, circuit breaker off, trip circuit supervision, circuit breaker spring charge, MCB trip and lockout relay. These are the functions for these functions, the contact which is available, we consider that contact is not available, is not enough. That's why we have used a auxiliary contact, and this auxiliary contact, number of contact, they normally contact each manufacturer has a standard procedure. Suppose the NO contact, they make it a 111, 313, odd numbers, 313, 4, then 515, 717, and NC contact maybe they are basically 212, 424, 620, 630, 624. Then next NO contact, NC contact will be it is 6, then 26. Okay, one series is a NO and 2 series is a NC. This way, this normally manufacturer made these terminal numbers, and then from this terminal, how about this contact we are using in the page number 2. So what we will do, we write over here page number 2. Suppose row number B, we write down row number B, and maybe column number 3, we put column number 3. So from there, we can immediately make out this contact where we have used in the control scheme. So this is the reference we use it. Okay. So this is the, now these are the various auxiliary contact, and we normally, this drawing is made in this way. We make the coil, with sensing signal we show on the top, and then on the bottom for each coil how many contacts available and those contact which is going where. If suppose this contact I am not using anywhere, it is remain ideal, we write down this sphere, means it is not used. And if the customer asks that auxiliary contact, all the auxiliary contact to be wired up in the terminal block, then is to be wired up, it should be taken to the terminal block and is to be terminated to some terminal. That also we mention over here. Suppose it is connected to TV 1 and 3, we write down TV 1 and 3. So from this drawing we can make out this contact is available for future use, and it has been not remain free in the relay body. From the relay body, because this is in auxiliary relay, from the relay body pin, this contact is wired up to the field terminal block, terminal number 1 and 3. That is also we show. In addition to this, there is another special feature, the circuit breaker on or off. In the case of medium voltage or in the low voltage circuit breaker, there is a service test isolated position. Now circuit breaker on, it does not mean that the power is flowing through the circuit breaker, because if the circuit breaker, service breaker can be closed in the service position as well as in test position. In the case of medium voltage and high voltage circuit breaker, what is happening? Circuit breaker, in front of the circuit breaker there is an isolator. If this isolator is on and the breaker is on, then only power will flow. But if the isolator is off and the breaker is on, in that case power will not flow. Circuit breaker, you can close the circuit breaker. In the disconnected off position, you can close the circuit breaker, but power will not flow because circuit breaker isolator is on. So circuit breaker on, it does not mean the feeder is on. Feeder means the power is flowing through this. When you say the feeder, means the power is flowing through the circuit breaker. So that does not have an auxiliary contact. So we have to simulate this condition by using auxiliary relay. How we do that? That is, I have shown over here the feeder one. Here to simulate the feeder one, in case of medium voltage and high voltage or extra high voltage circuit breaker, we use circuit breaker NO contact, means breaker is open condition contact, breaker NO contact, and isolator. This is isolator 1. That means the disconnector is on position. Disconnect is connected when both condition is met. That means breaker 52, the breaker is not open condition, breaker is closed. Breaker, if the breaker is closed, then this will be closed only, right? And then this is the isolator. This isolator is also on. When the isolator on means what we want to say, we have seen that this is the isolator and this is a circuit breaker, and their power is going like this. So if this is on and circuit breaker on, then only power will flow. That means at that condition we say this feeder is on. That is our terminology. So feeder is on. If we want to get, I have to get the isolator on and the breaker on. So this is the isolator on and breaker on. These two condition is giving to a auxiliary relay 52F, and the 52F relay auxiliary contact. This contact we can use for the feeder on indication. Suppose I want to get a feeder on indication in the control room, then what I'll do? Suppose this is NO contact, I will take this contact to the control room. The moment breaker is on, this connector is on, then this 52F will energize and this contact become NC. Immediately if we put a lamp over here, this lamp will glow, means we understand feeder is on. So but feeder is on does not mean that breaker, feeder is on does not mean circuit breaker is on. Suppose this is circuit breaker on. So this is only 52A, but in this condition, if I take, suppose this signal I am taking to control room to understand the power is flowing, that is sometime it may true, sometime it may not true. If the disconnector is not on and the breaker is for test position, or breaker is in test position, not in service position, in that case it will give wrong indication. That's why circuit breaker on and feeder on indication to different indication. Circuit breaker on indication means only breaker is on, but breaker may not be in service or test position in case of low voltage. In the low voltage circuit breaker, the disconnector is not there. So here we use breaker service position or test position contact. Okay. So these will be must be in the case of feeder on, it will be circuit breaker service position contact and the breaker on contact. Then only it will give a feeder on indication. But in the case of high voltage and extra high voltage, this contact is isolator contact and then the feeder breaker on contact. This will give you a feeder on condition. So circuit breaker on condition and feeder on condition is not the same. Feeder on condition not readily available with the circuit breaker. We have to develop that scheme, develop that auxiliary contact using this circuit. Similar, these are the various auxiliary relay I have used and the contact how it is shown. So this is a, we call it a auxiliary relay circuit or auxiliary relay scheme. This way we can have a multiple number of relays for other functions. Suppose breaker failure relay, breaker failure has taken place, that has only limited contact, then we can use one of the breaker failure contact over here, master contact, then we use auxiliary relay, and then that relay will output contact will be using wherever we use. I told you that SF6 circuit breaker, in case of SF6 circuit breaker, if the circuit pressure is low, suppose here we want to monitor the SF6 circuit breaker. So what I will do over here, SF6 circuit breaker pressure switch, suppose is a low. Suppose all these two conditions, low and low, we want one contact. So what we'll do, we'll use here one low contact and another low contact. This is a SF6 low. SF6 breaker, SF6 chamber pressure, SF6 gas pressure is low and this is a low. So low and low both auxiliary contact I will use in parallel. Then I will use one auxiliary relay over here, A1, A2, and then it connect to negative bus, and that relay auxiliary contact, these are the auxiliary contact. So whether pressure is low or pressure is low, in either case, this auxiliary relay will be energized and then the output contact I can use as per my requirement. But if it is required that low and low, it needs separately, then I have to use two contact or two auxiliary relay, not one auxiliary relay. For the low, one auxiliary relay, and then for low, suppose this is a less, and low means like double less than. In that case, I have to use another contact, and then I have to use another relay over here. Okay, that is a low. So in this way, whatever the function we need, if that function has for that function the master device has no multiple contact, in that case one of the master device contact we take it and then we put auxiliary relay. From that auxiliary relay, we multiply this contact and we can use for the various purposes as per our requirement. So this is a auxiliary relay scheme for this circuit breaker control schematics or switchgear control schematics, and why it is required I mentioned, and how it is referred, how it is presented in a drawing, what is the how it can be used, that is also I have shown over here. Suppose this is another, suppose 52A contact, this is we are using breaker auxiliary contact. Now this breaker auxiliary contact, we will be showing it in the breaker scheme. When we will be showing the breaker internal, in that drawing, this 52A will be showing over there. So that drawing number may be that page number 6. So this may be coming from page number 6, suppose row number 3, row number B, column number 2. In that case, here we write down in this way, suppose it's page number 8, comma, it is row number, suppose row number C and column number 2. In this way, we mention this thing that will understand this 52A physically located in which drawing, page number 8 of this drawing sets, and the row number C and the column number 2. So suppose this is a page number 8. So in this page, suppose what I'll do, go to is page number 8, then I'll go to row number C and vertical number 2. So I'll come like this way, and then in this location this 52B is there on that drawing. So this way cross reference we use to identify the auxiliary contact from where it is coming, and this output auxiliary contact where it is going. When a master contact from where it is coming, and the auxiliary contact where it is going, in which circuit we clearly mention over here, and this way this breaker auxiliary relay scheme is made. Okay, so this is a small video for the auxiliary relay scheme. So with this we are closing this today's this video over here, and please go through this. If you have any queries, you can raise the queries, we will try to respond it. And thank you very much indeed. Please keep it up and continue with your partnership. That will be my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.